The United States became an independent nation after 1776, with official recognition coming in 1783. But the story of this land goes back far earlier than the Founding Fathers. Long before European contact, the American continent was inhabited by ancient peoples. Although it's uncertain exactly how the first humans arrived, many historians believe that around 30,000 years ago, groups migrated from Eurasia across a land bridge, Berinia, which once connected Siberia to North America during the Ice Age. This migration likely continued until the land bridge was submerged about 10,000 years ago, as glaciers melted and sea levels rose. Ancient America. These first settlers, known as the Paleo-Americans, gradually moved south and east, giving rise to unique cultures and societies across the Americas. Over time, diverse civilizations emerged, including the Adena, Mississippian, Iroquois, Puebloan, and Coles Creek cultures, each contributing to the rich heritage of early North America. Meanwhile, far across the ocean, the Hawaiian Islands remained uninhabited until Polynesian voyagers settled them between the 1st and 10th centuries AD. These early Hawaiian societies developed in complete isolation from the mainland. European exploration and colonization. The course of history shifted in 1492 when Christopher Columbus, sailing under the Spanish crown, set out to find a western route to Asia, but instead landed in what Europeans would call the New World. This ignited a wave of exploration and colonization. Spain quickly established a vast empire, launching from bases in Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola. France claimed territory in North America and the Caribbean, while Portugal colonized Brazil. By the 1600s, the English, Dutch, and Swedes began settling along the eastern coast of North America. The first enduring English settlement, Jamestown, was founded in Virginia in 1607. As English colonies expanded throughout the 17th century, many settlers arrived seeking new opportunities. Colonies established agriculture, tobacco being a major crop, and relied heavily on enslaved Africans for labor. By the 1770s, people of African descent made up around 20% of the population in the colonies. Tensions with Britain. Early colonial governments operated under governors appointed by the British Crown, but local legislatures also existed and played a role in taxation and lawmaking. As the colonies grew, tensions with Britain escalated. The French and Indian War, 1754 to 1763, part of the broader 7 Years' War, left Britain in debt. To recover funds, Parliament imposed taxes on the colonies, beginning with the Stamp Act of 1765, without colonial consent. This sparked protests under the banner, "No taxation without representation." In 1773, colonists in Boston protested a tax on tea by dumping British tea into the harbor, the event now known as the Boston Tea Party. Britain responded with harsh laws that stripped Massachusetts of self-governance, intensifying resistance. The road to independence. In 1774, delegates from the 13 colonies formed the First Continental Congress to oppose British policies. Though not yet calling for independence, they coordinated boycotts and demanded redress. Under the leadership of General George Washington, the Continental Army scored a major victory at Saratoga in 1777, which persuaded France, and later Spain and the Netherlands, to join the American cause. Britain, isolated and without allies, was forced into peace talks. Nation-building and expansion. The war officially ended in 1783 with the Treaty of Paris, which recognized U.S. independence. The new nation then turned its attention westward. In 1703, President Thomas Jefferson orchestrated the Louisiana Purchase, doubling the nation's size. Originally seeking only New Orleans and nearby land, American diplomats were offered the entire Louisiana territory for $15 million, a deal too good to pass up. Later, the U.S. annexed Texas in 1845. A war with Mexico soon followed, resulting in the U.S. acquiring vast southwestern territories. The Civil War. But expansion also deepened divisions over slavery. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln was elected on a platform opposing slavery's spread. Southern states, fearing the loss of their slave-based economy, seceded and formed the Confederacy. The Civil War erupted in 1861 when Confederate forces attacked Fort Sumter. After 4 brutal years, Union forces emerged victorious. Slavery was abolished, and the country slowly began to heal, though deep scars remained. Industrialization and global power. The late 19th century saw massive industrial growth. Railroads expanded, cities grew, and America became an economic powerhouse. In 1898, after the Spanish-American War, the U.S. gained control of the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico, marking its rise as a global empire. World War I erupted in 1914. Though the U.S. initially stayed neutral, it joined the Allies in 1917 after repeated German provocations. The war ended in 1918, but peace was short-lived. The Great Depression and World War II. The U.S. entered a devastating economic collapse in 1929, the Great Depression, which paved the way for global instability and World War II. In 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, prompting the U.S. to enter the war. American forces fought on both the European and Pacific fronts, helping to defeat Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. The war ended in 1945, after atomic bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The Cold War era. After World War II, the U.S. and the Soviet Union emerged as global superpowers. This marked the beginning of the Cold War, a decades-long rivalry involving nuclear arms races, proxy wars in Korea and Vietnam, and ideological battles between capitalism and communism. Domestically, the 1960s brought transformative civil rights movements. African Americans and other minorities demanded, and won, greater freedoms and legal equality. Modern history. With the Soviet Union's collapse in 1991, the Cold War ended, and the U.S. stood as the world's dominant power. But new challenges emerged. In 2001, the September 11th terrorist attacks by Al-Qaeda reshaped U.S. foreign policy. America launched wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, entering a long period of military involvement in the Middle East. In 2008, a major financial crisis struck, triggering a global recession and ushering in a new era of economic and political uncertainty. From ancient migrations and indigenous cultures to independence, civil war, global conflict, and superpower status, the history of the United States is a tale of struggle, resilience, and transformation.